Hello, Saberland. Scout JUA from the forums, IRA, FX, and the replica prop forum. This is a vintage Graflex saber install conversion for Korbanth. Randy sent me two sabers this time, father and son, so that we have an Anakin Attack of the Clones. That is from the Trid Cloudwalker run. That one's complete too. I'm going to do the video for that here in a little bit. But this one is the Graflex he sent me. So first he got a vintage Graflex from somebody on one of the forums. When it came, somebody had already converted it. So it came with a replica bottom 3-cell tube. I know it's replica. I've studied these quite a bit, but there's lots of tales that tell it's replica. Also, it came with a D-ring that had already been, it was loose when it came, but it had already been installed and it had giant holes drilled for it. So it was held on by bolts and a nut, nuts and bolts, basically. So it wasn't threaded or anything like that. So that's what I had to work with. There was just no way I could put an accurate D-ring on it because of the way these holes were drilled. I was able to put some hidden sound holes underneath here, so it is quite loud for a Graflex. And also what they did was these grips had been attached at some point. They were loose in a bag when they came. They look like they're like Blastech grips because they're rubber. Originally the adhesive must have come off or something because the person who had it before him decided to use super glue or some type of adhesive because it was all over the backside of these grips, and they're a little dry, they're a little worn, they're showing their age. Also, they were very hard to clean up, but you can see just about on the edges of each one, it looks like they tried to clean up their glue residue with an X-Acto knife or something, because there is a cat hair here. There is plenty of scratches outlining where those grips belong. So that's unfortunate. I don't want to try and polish them off because they're not too noticeable when the grips are on. But I don't want to polish the metal and ruin the finish on it. Besides, it is supposed to be, it's Star Wars. It's a used universe, so nothing should be perfect anyway. The top half is in good shape. There's some wear showing its age. This is an earlier Graflex top end. The pins here have a square base rather than a hex base. So also we have the non-polished, non-rounded rim glass eye. So this definitely shows that it's an older Graflex top end. In fact, even the button looks like it may have been replaced with, it's still a vintage button, but the older ones that I've seen that come with the square base hex pins and the glass like that have a single thin knurled strip around the button, and this one has the button as you see in the movie. So that's another variation. One of the things that I did have trouble with was getting the bunny ears out was the original pin and the spacer that goes between. Just when they came out, the spacer had been really chewed up. It just would not go back in. So I had to machine a new one, and that's in there. The one really cool thing is that he got, which was surprising, and I imagine to Randy, was that this is a vintage correct bubble strip. It's not in the best shape, as you can see. The previous owner had some really horrible looking chrome tape behind it, and it has a couple chips in it, lots of scratches, and even the very tops of the bubble domes looks like they've been either rubbed against something or it wasn't treated very well. But that also goes with the look of it. But it is a vintage X-Acto bubble strip, which is pretty cool. So I went ahead and used that. It fit pretty loosely in there, so I did some of my magic to make it fit nice and tight. This is a basic install with basic sound, so it has a Plecterlabs Nano Biscotte in there. But when I say basic, I just mean features are basic. It has excellent sound quality. It has excellent motion sensitivity. It is bright. It's got a Tri-Rebel blue, blue, blue in there. It is really cool. Let me open it up and show you guys, and Randy, because this is going to be your instructional video too. Let me show you. Let me just prop this up here. So you will loose the clamp here and turn and gently pull. Work that loose. The inside of that is dirty. The original tube is pretty dirty. So this is a PVC chassis, just simple. I machined the PVC chassis. It's got your recharge port right here. I will put a kill key in it. The kill key does fit inside here. Being a Nano, you don't necessarily need the kill key in because the board will sleep, and all you have to do is
this is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
Push the power button to get it to come back on. That's a custom boot that I made. So this just kind of wedges in here. There's a little channel machine for that recharge port to go in. If you need access to your SD card, you will need those pliers. It is right in there. You shouldn't have to change it. I've got the perfect font on it for you. I have Juan Sith's Episode 4, Graflex 4, sorry, and it is, nothing can be better than that, in my opinion. So there you go. Just button it back up. Let me show you how to attach a blade. So two things are going to hold everything together. There's this screw right here. This is your blade retention screw. It puts just enough tension to hold the blade. Also, the glass eye becomes a blade retention screw. It protrudes in just enough to when you tighten it down, it will also hold the blade in. This is a blade, a custom saber shop blade that I made. It's snug. Oops. Oh, iPhone. It's very snug, so let me just loosen the screw here. Put that down in there. Now we will tighten this back up, and then we'll tighten the glass eye, and now we have a solid blade. It is not going anywhere. Let me just fire it up. Just push. As you can see, it's very bright. Cameras always have trouble capturing the real brightness of a blade, but it's nice and bright for a Tri-Rebel. Excellent. I love Graflexes. This is my favorite saber of all of them, I think. Every time I pick one up or build one, I just really hate to let it go. It's just genius. Anyway, hold down for a second. That turns it off, and the board will sleep. And that's the Graflex.